Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to 200 League Prime Time. I am Technical, and I'm joined by my good friend Awoken.
How's everyone doing? Now, we've showcased 200cc on Mario Kart Central from time to time, but I do believe this is the first time we have ever watched Division 2 action from the 200 League, and it's a good one. It's a very hyped up match, one of the most important of the entire tournament, because these two teams, Next N and Encore Unity, are currently fighting for the top seed of Division 2, and this could dictate the entire playoffs right here.
Yes, so this match will decide who gets the top seed in Division 2, and we'll get the bye straight to the finals for 200cc League in Division 2.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at the lineups if we're able to do that.
A very
Yes.
sought after position for both of these two teams right now, and they're both putting out their absolute best for it.
Yes, these two teams are definitely bringing out the big guns today, especially Encore Unity. They really brought out their top six, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I absolutely would agree. Bringing out Alex, whose POV we're going to be watching today, so thank you to them. We're going to have Artie. We're going to have Dark, or Caesar, as we'll probably end up calling him. We have Greg, we have Miles, and we have Season. They're what I would absolutely argue to be their six players, and definitely I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of them being maybe even moved up to Encore 1 next season. That's
Yes.
how good this lineup is that they're bringing out, and they do not want to lose this match.
Of course. All 12 of these players have definitely improved in 200cc, and they've done a great job this season helping their team get to where they are right now on the cusp of making the final straight out of the final week.
Yeah. Would mean a lot to both of these teams to be in that position, not having to worry about the stress of possibly facing a third seed, likely Enlightenment in the semifinals, another very scary team that's been improving rapidly in D2, and definitely a threat that they both want to avoid if possible.
Yes, exactly. And I've kept up with Enlightenment a lot this season. They're a pretty new team, and they are definitely not a team to be slept on for these two.
Yes, and being able to avoid them, who will probably be the losing team hero's opponent in the semifinals, is going to be a great feeling, and it'll definitely get them into the finals with some confidence.
Yes, yes. Now the match should be starting up momentarily. It is 2:03 p.m. Eastern as of now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually really excited to see how this match goes. I haven't really kept up too much with D2. I've only obviously watched Encore Unity and everything just because, we are both Encore members, so that's what we keep up with a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. And the two of us, we're going to have some high-stakes matches to play for our team in D1. We could end up in the same spot as Unity if we go 2-0 maybe. So that would be nice.
Yes, and I just realized we actually forgot to read out the next end roster.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Yes, so we have Alan, Hermie, Maxim, Nanu, Sayer, and Simon. Definitely a very good lineup from next end as well. Both these teams, again, bringing out the big guns, as I said before.
Mm-hmm. A couple more very strong players, and from Encore's and NN's time, constantly scrimming with each other whenever the opportunity is given. We've seen what the players from both of these sides are capable of. We know that NN2's got some secret bosses hidden away in their lineup. We know that Encore Unity does as well, and it's time for them to, be the main stars of the show rather than being behind their first team teammates. And it's nice to see that for both of them.
Yes, I'm very happy for Encore Unity. I'm also very happy for Next End. Again, like I said earlier, both of these teams have definitely been on the come up as of late. They've definitely been really, really fighting for top spots in every single war that they play. They've done a great job of it.
Yes. And as the room is approaching a gathered state, we've got 11 in here. We're just waiting on one more. If I can decipher who that is. Looks like a Next N member, I want to say.
Based on what I'm
I
reading in the
believe
chat
so.
right now, I believe it is an Encore Unity member.
Is
But
it?
either way, there's 11 in the room. Still gotta wait for 12. Doesn't really matter, you know. I'm still very, very excited to see how this goes. Like I again have not watched Division 2 just because I've been so focused on Division 1 as of late, just trying to get to the top there. But I'm actually curious to see how this goes.
Yes.
Every Encore Unity versus Next Gen match so far, to my knowledge, has been pretty close. So this
Very
will
close.
definitely be one for the ages, I think.
Yeah, and definitely one that both these teams will remember. Not even just for the rest of the season, but
They'll remember this for future seasons as well.
Yes.
They need to.
Yeah, what happens in these matches does tend to get remembered a lot throughout the community. We not being as big, kind of the bigger events that we have do stand out more to us. So it's nice to remember what happens.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it seems 12 people are in the room finally. The room will be getting started. Thank you, Simon, for hosting.
Yes.
Now, what tracks do you think these two teams are going to pick right here?
You know, of course, both these teams tend to have their go-tos, and they tend to definitely have their very much outlined go-tos. Like, if you play against this team, you are going to see this track, and both of them are starting out with that right off the bat. Encore Unity, big lovers of MCA, and Next Gen, big lovers of Tokyo Blur. And absolutely no surprises to see either of them out here for the first race, especially given the spots that they're in. We have NN in presumably 4 of the top 5 to start off.
I was going to say that would be huge for them if it wasn't this track. However, with Tokyo Blur, you can draft up and they can all get into top 3 quickly. With Mario Circuit, it's kind of like a dice roll, you know?
Yeah, and Encore Unity seems very confident in that dice roll, and they have been for a while.
Finally getting started here. Division 2, final week. Match decides who gets the first seed. Here we go.
Yep. Off to the races with Maxim here, who opts to avoid the first set and looks like he wants to be running this race from the back. An interesting decision as he finds himself in the pack and will likely shroom up at the end here. So in a pretty solid position to start things off, surrounded by his teammates somewhat, but it's looking like an early Encore lead here.
Sound muted.
Next Gen's going to quickly take the top 2 again as Simon kept first.
Yes,
from the start.
The draft from Maxim as he goes wide for the coins, and at the moment they're just looking to space out their top 2 as much as possible. But a great snipe from Caesar as Miles shrooms up into first, and now it's a 1-3 for Encore Unity.
2-4 for Next Gen as well, so these placements could definitely shift around at any moment. I believe Season was killed out there.
Mm-hmm.
Miles just going to hold that front. Encore now looking to capitalize and take a top 3 with those triple reds coming out from Alex. Yes, gets the trail there. Encore now has top 3.
Yes, and usually when I have seen Encore play this track, it's them trying to take advantage of shock here, but they haven't even done that. They've just played the track for the track itself, and it seems to be working out for them. They're sitting in really comfortable spots right here. Alex in kind of an unfortunate spot with this red surrounded by their teammates, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be at least a top 2 for Encore, probably even more.
Top 3 from Encore, at least. I saw Artie coming in there in 3rd place. So very good start from Encore Unity here. Yes, top 3, 6, 7 for Encore Unity.
Yeah, very good start. And they're going to be off to an early lead, a nice one. They're coming out swinging with their best lineup possible.
Of course.
And they want to avoid enlightenment. After the rough -2 loss they had to them last week, they don't want to see that team again. As they go straight into one of their strongest runners, Paris Promenade. This is definitely one that both teams have been picking a lot.
It's good to see that people are picking Paris Promenade. I enjoy Paris Promenade.
I do too. The lag factor is the one thing that's kind of turning me off from it as of late, but other than that, it's a very fun track. Do enjoy it.
They will get the Paris Promenade pick there, so very good for their top 3 spots. Hopefully they can maintain it because it is very easy again to draft up on the first turn in 4-5. Curious to see how that goes, however.
Alex able to hold first for the time being, but Miles on their way up and Caesar on his way up as well. The
Seems
three of
that
them
they've held on to this top three very,
Yeah.
very well to start the race, but
Yeah.
this is where things start to get a little crazy.
Yeah, especially with the lag. These people are going to want to space out here, and if Alex keeps getting these drafts, then that might be a little difficult. Sarah looking to make some noise behind there, I believe has a shroom, and is going to assume second, while Alex does
Unfortunate
get
lag
trailed
trail
out.
there for Alex.
Yeah.
Now, I believe Encore still has first right now. The blue comes out. They still have top two, actually, I believe. But Sarah's up there definitely trying to make some noise, trying to break into that top two, but they seem to have a pretty decent lead.
Mm-hmm. Alex
Encore, I
on their
believe,
way back up the pack
1-2-4.
with a pretty solid set of items at the moment. Not really much to do with the shrooms, and not much to do with the Reds either, now that I'm seeing that they are surrounded by their teammates. But if season goes the other way, Alex able to red out Nanu here. Very smart play from the two of them, but unfortunately it's not going to matter as Nanu able to get away from the Reds. And
Very smart
Alex
to cycle
hoping for
for a
something
shroom there.
good here. Unfortunately, only pulling triple grease while right on top of the teammates. And
It'll be fine. Encore still gets the, I believe, Next N actually got second there. Yes, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Encore. Again, huge.
yeah, another really good race, especially with the NN bottom three there. Exactly what you want to see if you are an Encore fan. I should probably open the chat to see how many of those we have watching at the moment, but
Very commanding start from Encore Unity right now, but I do believe Next N has what it takes to come back.
of course they do.
Again, they've definitely proven to be on the come up as of late. They definitely are not out of it. Now, I believe if I look at the votes in the chat, it is 40% on Next N and 60% on Encore. So it seems we have more Encore fans in the chat than Next N fans, unfortunately. Just kidding.
Yeah. What do you mean, unfortunately? You play for Encore.
It's okay. Next N gets the Yoshi Valley pick, so they will definitely be at the advantage here since this track can honestly go either way. You can either run it for a good amount or a bunch of shocks, blue shells, stuff like that. This track is very chaotic at times. Maxim opting here to bag here. Definitely a smart play. You always want like one, probably two baggers on this track per team. That's usually what works well from what I've seen. Not sure how many baggers each team has, however. I think Next N has 3 back here. It seems Encore has a top 3 lead right now to start the race. I don't know how well that's going to hold up. This is around the time the teams can start cycling for shocks. Hopefully pull one and flip the race, because this is, again, a track where the race is definitely flippable at quite literally any moment.
Yeah, it all depends on when that shock is pulled here, and Maxim not quite able to get hands on it just yet, but
misses the chain there as well, so that's another missed opportunity.
Yep.
I'd imagine it's pulled somewhere around here.
Yep. Sarah sitting here holding his dodge. Can't quite get tabs on the very far back. If we could maybe see what Alex is up to back there, because I do believe that's them in 11th at the moment, as they pull a star. It's looking like probably a shockless race here.
Unless it's pulled here by either Simon or Alex. Nope, no pull there, but Alex will be in a dodge for pretty much the rest of the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, not quite the item you want to do the last shortcut with, a ghost. Yeah, you will be safe, but you're going to get passed by everyone that does have a speed item. We'll steal triple shrooms, but it's a bit too late as they end up in 10th.
I believe Encore
As
still
for the
got
rest
top
of his team,
4.
as for the rest of their team forever, it does not matter. Encore still off to the commanding lead, just building off of it even more, and Enna's going to have to figure out an answer to snap this momentum, as there's another top 4.
The biggest key to Next N coming back right now is breaking through into those front spots. Encore Unity has definitely made a statement so far in this match that they will take command of the front, and if you don't get them out of it, they will keep the front. The Next N definitely has to break into the front, keep those front spots, definitely defend backwards,
That's
and they
something.
could potentially come back.
Yeah, that's something that I know Next Z has historically been very good at. Being able to take command of races just from one person being up in the front. That's a skill that Next Z has definitely mastered. And if they're any kind of good mentors for their second team, then they should be well within that experience, as they do get their Dredroid Desert pick, looking to at least snap this momentum with a small loss rather than the -20s and -30s that they've been put to experience so far.
Yes, they definitely need something to flip the war right now, because Encore Unity is definitely has a ton of momentum right now.
Now tell me about this track tech and how it has a lot of sand.
Well, this track does have a lot of sand, and you may see that
Yes.
as this race plays out for the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
This track may have a lot of shocks as well. You never know until it actually happens.
If the Yoshi Valley race is anything to go off of, then I do feel like we are due for one, but 2 shockless baggers in a row could happen, although very unlikely. We do see much more players in the back here than there were on Yoshi Valley, but that's just due to the nature of this track. Nobody wants
shock.
to run it.
It's a very early shock, so I'm not sure how much this is going to influence everything, but I believe that is Nanu in first, and I think Encore has 2-3 right now as well. So let's see how that flips around later if there's a second shock. There's the second shock.
There's the second shock. Am I right to say that those were the first 2 this whole war?
I believe so. I might be forgetting.
Yeah, because there were none on Mario Circuit and there were none on Yoshi Valley. I forget what the second race was, but I do believe that there was no funny business there either. So depending on who used those 2 shocks, and to me it's looking like next end shocks, is Maxim making his way up the pack with Shrooms, Hermie sitting comfortably in first.
I think
God
next
knows
end
what
has
items.
first here. 1-5 at least. I believe Encore may be 2-3-4. So they
2, 3,
may
4,
still
6.
win this race regardless.
Yep. Hermie will finish in first, much to the happiness of Desi if you're watching. But that won't matter as a 2-3-4-5 from Encore. So, like I said, a much smaller loss than what they have been so far. However, still not what they need just yet. They're going to need to completely shift their own momentum and start winning races at this point.
Yes, they absolutely need a win right now. Encore Unity up 82 after 4 races.
Yes.
Definitely not what Next End wants, but again, they still have the time to make some noise. 8 races left. It is not over yet.
Yes, they're going to need to average about a +10 throughout the rest of this war if they want to bring it back for a win here. And like I was mentioning, they are on their way to reversing the momentum as they've cut their -20s down to what was there a -8. So, like I said, from this point on, you're going to have to start winning races if you're Next End. And with Encore Unity getting yet another track pick in Toad Circuit, it's looking like it might be a little difficult for that.
This track has always been interesting to me. I can never tell if it's a heavy runner or a heavy bagger or both at the same time. I mean, it kind of depends, I think.
Yes.
So we will definitely see some people opting to bag here for the shock. There's a lot of grass on this track, unlike the last one.
Yeah.
So,
and most of Encore Unity opting to run here. I would like to say that most of who is bagging right there is Next End, although we do see Alex in last. Kind of an unfortunate start for Maxim, not able to get the shortcut he might have wanted, but is still sitting pretty comfortably in 5th and will likely throw a red at Caesar, which he does.
I believe Encore still has first, and I just saw Next End get killed out a second there, so Encore does take up that top 3, I believe.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Alex trying to make their way up.
Unfortunately, Alex succumbing to the physics of Toad Circuit. Why did they make it like that?
Not sure. The rumble strips are very, very not well made. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
Alex is definitely going to be able to gain some spots here.
Yeah,
already gaining
really
some spots, maybe
here.
more here.
Yeah, going to pass at least 2 more.
I think that's an Encore top 3.
I do believe that's an Encore top 4. I do believe that was... Okay. Allen was able to break the Encore top 4, but that will be an NN bottom 4. And right when we thought that Next Gen had a chance to flip the momentum, Encore gets their track pick and they take advantage of it. That's like a plus 30 right there.
It's a very
exactly
unfortunate string of events for Next Gen on that race. They definitely did look like they had a lot of front spots, but unfortunately, Encore did capitalize on the items that they pulled and were able to catch up.
Yes, very well done by them.
And once again, absolutely needs to flip the race or flip the war right now. Going into race 6, I believe.
And once again, no surprises here. Not even just from like the tracks that these two teams like to pick, just from the tracks in the meta at the moment. Like Lulu Meadows, still arguably the most dominant front runner in the game, and Cheeseland, now that Desert's been picked, is the bagger of choice.
That's just unfortunate for Next Gen right there.
Yeah.
Encore, hopefully, Next Gen can potentially break into the front here, but it's going to be difficult, especially since, like you said, this is one of the most dominant front runners in 200cc.
Yeah, and it only really, I will say, it only really works that way if you know how to play it. So it's going to be very important for Encore right now that they understand how to space. And Alex looking like they are doing just that. Kind of getting stuck in the grass, and we'll go say hi to the cow there as they end up in last. A lot of bottom spots for Encore here. A lot of bottom spots for Encore. Everyone that started the race in the top spot for Encore is now back here. Does look like...
If the other races have told us anything, I feel like they could potentially gain some spots back, but Maxim is actually going to take command of first here. I believe a bunch of Next Gen is behind them as well.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it looks like it was almost an NN top 3. As Maxim jumps over the fence into the off-road, I do believe that might have given Encore first right there. We do see Artie in second, rocking the Ludwig pipe frame. You have to respect that combo.
Yes, I do respect that. I know Encore has 2 through 5 currently. Maxim's going to try to break into the front last second here.
Unfortunately, getting a bit too much air from here.
Watch the plant.
Just barely unable to avoid the plant from Alex, and that's looking like a 2-3-4 for Encore. I'm not quite sure who was in first. I'd have to guess that's Nanu.
I believe that's Nanu, yes.
It will be Nanu. And still a 2-3-4 for Encore, though. So, again, they're getting smaller losses, but at this point, it doesn't matter because they're still getting losses. They're going to need to massively turn this war around at this point. Actually, no, I lied. They won that race. It was a +2 for NN, despite the 2-3-4 from Encore.
But a +2, unfortunately, isn't really going to cut it at this point when they're down 110.
It's not going to cut it when you're down 110. It will flip the momentum, and if they're able to build on that, then they still have half the war to play. And if Encore was able to build up this lead in 5 races, then NN can break it in 7.
Exactly. Encore,
it's just
going a very Encore pick right now.
Both of these very Encore picks, I would say. We love Piranha Plant Slide and we love Sweet Sweet Canyon up in Encore 1.
I love these tracks.
Oh,
I think both teams could benefit from either of these.
Yeah. I didn't
especially
know
this one.
I never would have guessed that you like your world record track.
Right. Exactly. I hate it. I just decided to grind it forever, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, as we head to Piranha Plant Pipeway here, Maxim...
I don't hate that name.
It's fine. I think Slide is a little better, though.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think Encore actually has the ability to break into first here very easily if one of them does what we call the fast strat. It seems Simon's actually going to keep first there.
Yeah, Simon, who I believe started the race in like 7th, able to make their way into first, is Nanu, who did start in first. Now kind of stuck in the pack. Miles, who I did think might have gotten into first, is now back here as well. So an interesting front here. It does look like a top 2 for NN being Hermie and Simon, which should not come as a surprise knowing those two's experience on this track. Alex, unfortunately, not quite able to avoid the trail from their team leader as they're stuck with a full Fire Flower in 11th. This is not something that you want to have right now if you're Alex.
Very bad position. Not a great pull there either. But they are going to try to get some good pulls here. Potentially a shock?
They will opt to bag. And a star is not going to cut it back there, but definitely their next their next thing here to do is going to be chaining at this double, and
I
if a
believe
big item
next
was
N is taking command of the front right now. A shot comes out. I'm not sure who that came from because I think
Yeah.
only one person dodged.
Maxim dodged. I do believe Alex dodged as well. That could have potentially been a shock from 11th.
Nice
Maxim,
recovery there. Never mind.
I don't know if I'd call that a recovery. Not able to not fall off, but that might have lost more time.
Yes. That's just an unfortunate chain of events. Smart steering is always super janky in this game.
Yeah, Maxim does look like
Maxim will be getting last year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the two POVs bottom twoing, but fortunately for NN, that looks like a very solid race for them. A top 2-5, 9, 10, 12, a modest race. That's about, I want to say, like a +6 or +8. So,
Definitely better.
Yes, definitely better. Yeah, they're gonna need a bit more than that if they want to start flipping momentum here, but it's a start. They're building on their momentum. They had a small win before, and they've got a bit bigger of a win now.
Just a couple of big wins, and they're back in it. But we are going into race 8 or 9, I believe.
Yeah, that will be a +4. So we are going into ace rate with a 100-point deficit. 106, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I can do math.
Mental math is hard. It's okay.
Yeah. And again, two tracks I love. Encore with a very Encore pick in SSC, and Wildwood's a track that we love, though not as common as I honestly would like it to be in the meta. It's picked from time to time, but we really don't see it that often, and we're not going to see it. Encore just keeps getting their tracks. This tends to be a theme between Encore and NN Wars, where just one team gets all of the track picks.
It's never like 6 and 6. It's always like 10 and 2.
Yeah. And I do believe at this point that Next Gen has gotten there too in Dry Desert and PPS. So, unfortunately for them, it might be Encore from here on out. If
someone is rocking
that statement does hold up,
and I enjoy that.
I think I can tell you exactly who that is. Oh,
already. Caesar immediately getting redded out there. Gonna be playing this race from the back. I think one of these teams needs to go for the shock, especially Next End, to kind of flip the race if they're not doing so well.
A nice back by Maxim there, right on to Artie. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to make that much of a difference, though, as Encore still looks like they are mostly in control of the front. Maxim has it out for Artie this race. I don't know what he did to him, but
Caesar not being able to catch a break again, getting greened once again, being forced to play the race from the back. Nice slow horn there from Alex.
Yeah, it will hit both Maxim and Nanu there. Alex in a very good spot at the moment with triple shrooms and a ghost. Will dodge the shock if Encore pulls it. Unfortunately for Alex, it doesn't look like that will be happening considering who we see in the back at the moment. We'll pop the ghost here, which is smart, because if either team decides to TS the cannon, they will dodge. That won't happen, though, and they're not going to get anything out of this ghost besides a stolen coin and a backed red.
Encore was about to have top 4 there, I believe.
Yeah.
That red definitely saved it.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, we do see a lot more Encore in the back. It still looks like a pretty dominant Encore win here. If that Luigi's Encore, then that's a top 3 for them. It's not. It is Alan.
Is Next N. Interesting.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, that bottom 2 from NN kind of nullifies that, so that's going to be a pretty even race, and at that point, that's not acceptable for NN.
Unfortunately, it seems like they're just slowly falling a little bit more. Yeah, that was a -2 for Next N. So they're now down 106 going into the final couple of races. At
this point, if Encore wins this race, or no, according to Encore's bot, it was a tied race.
Interesting.
I'm not sure exactly what the spots were, but I'm looking at Encore's bot because nobody's doing it in the MKC server, and if theirs is anything to go off of, then if Encore wins this race by 16, that would put their lead at 122, which would make the win unattainable for NN. It already is going to be a comeback for the ages if this is pulled off, but Encore's not too far from making this mathematically over.
As much as I am an Encore player, I would like to see a comeback for the ages right now, don't you think?
I would like to see a comeback for the ages, too. We have had some very impressive comebacks in 200 history, although the context may not be as fortunate. But two very strong teams putting out their very best here, and so far, Encore proving to be the team to be in Encore Unity, proving to be the team to beat in Division 2, if I can speak.
Now it seems Encore is immediately going to take the top 2, and that trail from Greg at the start of the race definitely is going to solidify this lap 1 here.
Yeah.
Caesar first, Greg second. Next
able to get
trying
off
to
one
make some
more
noise
here
in
on
the front
Maxim.
again.
Maxim on his way up, but is going to have to be very careful of that red from Greg. Greg will back it, which is honestly a decision I disagree with, but they're still sitting pretty comfortably until Maxim streams into first.
2 of the top 4. Yes,
Yeah.
1 and I believe 4 from next end currently.
If they want,
that is unfortunate.
Yeah,
you always have to be careful on that part. It is lethal getting bumped off at that point.
And that's the Gold Mario advantage. Like, yes, you will see a lot more midweights in 200 than you will in the 150 meta. They're much more viable, but you will still absolutely see the heavyweight advantage. You will see Gold Mario players just absolutely wreaking havoc when they get the chance. And a lag bump like that is at times enough to destroy an entire race, or what could end up being an entire war here, as Encore have held this top 2 ever since. Alex with a star in 5th, not looking to give up their top spot either, as Nadu gets hit out, that might do it.
Nice trail there from Greg. I believe that's an Encore 134. Next End did get second, so a spot in the top 4 for Next End. But, I actually did not expect that.
An interesting race. A bottom 2 for NN is not what they want to see. I don't think that's going to be enough to mathematically solidify it. It won't be. Encore leads by 116, so...
It is very close, but...
Yes. If we're at a point now where it's not mathematically over, but this might genuinely be the best comeback in history if it happens, because Next End needs to top 6 3 times in a row to win by 4. That's the state that we're at right now.
I mean, hey, it is possible.
It is possible. And
don't count them out.
Yeah, don't count them out. We're casters, so we're gonna say this, but it's possible. It's just gonna take a not absolutely devastating race by Encore to solidify this, and I honestly hate their Sky Garden pick here. You want to, at the point that Encore is at right now, as much as I love Sky Garden, and I think it's a hilarious track in this game, it's one of the most inconsistent slot machine tracks in the entire game, and it's one of the best ones to throw away a lead on, because, not saying that they would, but just because of how the track is, nothing is guaranteed there.
It's okay. They didn't get the pick. Twisted Mansion
did not get the pick.
Decent for Next End.
Yeah, Twisted Mansion, another decent track for Next End, and another track where a lot of things can happen really quickly, especially with that glider spot at the very end. Plenty of spots to shroom up. There's just so much that can happen here, especially at the ending. You know, trapping the top path with a bomb, a target shock, the entire team shrooming up. Just anything could happen here, and I think NN, knowing that, is really going to want to try it out here.
All Encore needs is a first place, or a second, honestly. That's all they need to solidify their win. So Next End definitely wants to keep them out of the top 4 as much as absolutely possible.
It's not even that. Encore just needs a spot in the top 5 in any of the next 3 races to win this war. They just need to not lose this race by 38. For those that don't know, a perfect race is a top 6, which will win your team a race by 40 points. So you go by multiples of 40 by however many races there are left, knowing at this point, mathematically over would mean that Encore would be winning by 120, which they are not.
Now it seems whoever's in first is going to fail the blue out run there. That was seasoned. So Maxim is going to take first here, but I do believe Encore is right on his tail in second place or third place.
Mm-hmm. A pretty solid race for NN here, but unless they're able to work a miracle right now, it's not going to be enough. Maxim getting first here is nice and all, and it will be a lot of NN behind him.
But I believe that's an Encore 3-4, which is going to solidify the win for them.
It will, yes. And not quite sure what that is. It was definitely a winning race for NN, and one that they needed, but not one that they got soon enough, as now that Encore Unity is leading by 96 after 10 races, It is now, unfortunately, barring a repick or any other kind of penalty, mathematically over, and Encore Unity is going to take this one.
Yes, Encore Unity moving on to the Division 2 finals, getting the bye in the semifinals.
So long as they win their next match.
Yes.
And I will check who that is against right at the moment. It will be against Low Tier Gaming, who I'm not sure what their standing in D2 is at the moment, but if they play like this in that match, then they should not have an issue, and we will likely be seeing them in the D2 finals, so long as they are able to capture their 1 seed.
DK Jungle. Now, what spots did Next Gen get? Top 2?
They did get top 2. Yeah, at this point, now that it is garbage time and now that it doesn't matter anymore, this is the part where teams want to experiment with new things. And Next Gen, I haven't seen pick DK Jungle, so maybe this could be their new thing that they're trying to test out. And Maxim driving it pretty well.
They're also playing for pride,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, Maxim driving it surprisingly well so far. And Nanu, I know, also has a solid time on this track in time trials, if I'm not mistaken, so not
Maxim
too surprising to see them trying it out.
Place right now, has not lost it, but Caesar right there in second. Simon's going to do some good work trying to get him out of second.
Yeah, not quite going to happen yet as Simon takes the slow path. We'll just give Caesar even more space to do his work in second. Maxim going to be safe for the time being as that red hits the Tiki there.
Very well done from Maxim here, commanding the front. This is exactly what you want to do in 200cc. It is very difficult to hit people out of the front positions.
I'm impressed. This looks like a run I would see in D1. Yes. Genuinely. He's probably better at the track than I am. I'm going to be real. Unfortunately for him, though, the shot comes out. A few people in the back will dodge. It does look like an Encore Unity shot as a Pinkle Peach dodged, a Dry Bowser dodge, which I do believe is Greg, and the DK dodge, which is Alex, as we know.
Maxim still keeping first here. Again, that is impressive, especially after a DK Jungle shock.
Yeah, the shock didn't really do much to him as it hit him right after he landed, and he did not fall off at the ending there, so despite the fact that it dodged 3 members of Encore Unity, it was too little too late to really have that much of an effect on Maxim here, and he's going to hold first.
Out, it will not matter, however. Encore with getting, I believe, like 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe? But Maxim 100% just commanded that race in first place. Very impressive run there.
Yeah, if you're NN, like, even though the war's over, that's good to know. That's great knowledge for the future that you're very capable of playing and winning on this track. Not a very common one to see in 200, especially in Division 2. So they could easily take advantage of that. Just something to know for the future.
Yes, exactly. Going to the final race here, I'm curious what these teams will pick. Maybe try out something interesting.
I know Encore has been experimenting a lot with different things. I wonder if Unity is going to put one of their new tracks to the test here. Mario Circuit is something that I do see them pick pretty often, though.
Yes, I've always thought Mario Circuit was like good for like maybe 1, 2 top spots and all bottom spots otherwise.
I'm not entirely sure if Encore needs to play for differential. I know that they're in a very good spot in the div right now, but I don't know just how good it is. I know that their one loss was a -2, and they also had a tie, which I believe both of those wars were at the hands of Enlightenment. So, like I said, a threatening team that NN is not looking forward to facing in the playoffs, in the semifinals, if that match does occur.
And once again, gonna try to take command of the front once again. I believe Next Gen currently has top 3 to start the race, but on Mario Kart Stadium, quite literally anything can happen, especially on 200cc.
Yeah, and a kind of an unfortunate first Nisk there for Maxim, as a bunch of coins just appear on the line right for Alex there as they make their way up to 10.
Encore doing what they've been doing for most of the war is immediately taking back the front spots from Next Gen that they got last race.
Mm-hmm.
Very good position here for Alex. They can definitely shroom up here, just get a lead. Ooh, a shot comes out. I believe that was I'm actually not sure.
Yep.
Blue's going to get Artie there. Greg is going to take
We'll
command
get
of
on to
first,
Artie
Nadu
there,
in
but
second.
Greg commanding first at the moment. A lot of NN behind him, though. We do see Nanu in third, Nanu in second, Maxim in third. Alex doing their best to fend them off for Greg here, and looking to be doing a pretty good job. So long as Greg still has shrooms in first, which I believe he does. Yeah, Greg's going to presumably motion his way to the finish line. I don't know if Greg does that, but either way, able to hold on to first there as it's a 1-4-5 for Encore, or
Four.
bottom four, I guess.
Bottom four for Encore.
Not entirely sure what happened to Caesar there, but either way.
Races like that are what you need in 200cc. It just came a little bit too late for next in, unfortunately.
Yep. Still a very good war, though, and still a very fun one to watch on cast.
Yes. Now, again, Encore Unity will move on, presumably to the finals for 200 League Division 2. And they will take the 1 seed for Division 2.
Yes, you were welcome, Alex. You gave us some gameplay. That's what I will say. Yes, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, MKC, and thank you, Nino, for being our stream host. I know it's a thankless job. I would know that because I do it more than enough, and don't get shouted out by my casters. So thank you, Nino, for being selfless to do this for us. And
real quick before we go, actually,
yes,
if you guys would like to, at what's that?
Later tonight.
Yes, later tonight, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Come to MKU Primetime, Division 4 match between Hop Up Delivers and Version 2. Again, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time tonight.
Yes. So, not too far out, only 6 hours out. Unfortunately, I'm going to be working during this match. So, I am not entirely sure who you're going to be having cast it, but I can assure you you're going to get 2 great ones. So, definitely a match, definitely going to be a good match to watch. And for those of you, I know there's more 150 players out there in the community. Definitely going to be a fun one. These 2 teams, especially knowing who they are.
So definitely come check that out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. 200 League Primetime, Next End versus Encore Unity. Thank you guys for coming.
Probably going to see more 200 for what I would presume to be the next cast being the D1 Finals.
Probably. We'll see.
More than likely. We'll see if that happens, who it ends up being, all that stuff. But for now, from the 200 community signing off.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Peace.